In 2014, Sergio visited his friends Gino and Luis, who were in Malolos, Bulacan, for a project. At night, they thought of jamming in a bar, and on their way home, they passed by the night market of the area where they were. While they were walking, they heard the loud call of a young woman, "Sell! Buy whitening soap. It is sure to be effective. Even your armpits will be black, and they will turn white. Buy!" Next to her stood an old woman. "What the heck is the soap on the sidewalk?" "There is no name," she exclaimed while looking at the soap in her hand. "It's disappointing. Don't do it. Maybe later. It's fake, and it will damage my skin." She said something insulting, then returned the product upside down. "Excuse me, sir. Even though our soap doesn't have a name, it is guaranteed to be good to use. This soap has been used on many armpits," said the woman selling. Ligaya bravely said, "Grandpa, don't rebuke the old man sitting next to it." "Miss, I'm sorry," he replied. "Do you really use a lot of this to make you whiter? So you can use it on yourself to make you whiter?" Sergio replied to the shopkeeper, adding more insults. "That's right. Sir, it's true. What if it's fake? The skin of the person who uses your soaps will be damaged," he insisted to his friends, ashamed of his behavior. Ligaya angrily raised the sleeve of the t-shirt he was wearing to challenge Sergio, who was smiling because of the teasing. "Sir, please leave so that my grandson will not be annoyed. A bar of soap is old in his pocket." "Father, it's right that what you're doing will make us fight." "Sorry, miss. I just said angina," Gino and Luis said to Grandma. Then they pulled him away. "Alas, Grandma, why did you give him that soap?" He heard the girl's screams. He was going to look at her, so his friends pulled him away and stopped him far away. When he felt something hit the back of his head, he immediately turned around. "Oh, what's wrong with you, Leo?" he asked, then looked at the slipper that fell on the paved road. "Hey man, don't let our paths cross. I promise you that you will also have a soap with his name in your pocket, so just hide it. You need miss a billion luck for what you say to happen." The girl laughed out loud. "I don't need luck. I need opportunity and grace," the determined girl said. 10 years have passed. Now here is Ligaya. "Okay, thank you very much to all the nags in our soap opera product. In 2 to 3 days, you already have the products you bought. Happy life to all of you." Is he happy to let his online viewers know? Another company continued live. "You are wasting your time to earn a lot of money." "Lolita," exclaimed her friend, who has also become a partner in the business. "Lolita, isn't it enough? SAO, 2 million income today? 2 million are my followers, and they all bought not one, but more products. Isn't that enough for me to give you a break? Do you want the owner to challenge the money? I'm not like that. I can see that the others are also tired, and our sales are enough for today. Let's leave our stuff and rest." "Okay," he calmly said to his friend. Lolita's head was turned aside and her hands were folded across her chest. "Oh no, you're the Santa between us two, and I'm the one who laughs at this answer," she said, knowing that that's really what she's like. Even though he often told her that all she needed was for him to become a saint for her kindness, she just smiled at his teasing. "Oh, Lolita, take a rest. That's just tired. Yes, there's no love life. Teasing is another part of it." There, he frowned. Many people flirt with him, but he doesn't pay attention because that's not his focus. He doesn't know, but it's like he's waiting for someone he doesn't know. "Ma'am, it turns out that he wants to date someone. Interview with you the next day. You are really famous." "Madam Elsa," she is happy and says, "I don't have time for that. Tell me, I don't want to be interviewed. I'm not an actor or a celebrity. Ligaya's only once seen on TV. You don't want to be the CEO of the soap." Lolita exclaimed, "I don't want showbiz. I want a quiet and private life. I'm fine with these blessings given by God. I don't need fame." "Okay," she answered the companions who were there. Then she left in front of them and went to the stockroom. Meanwhile, there is currently chaos in Mercado's building due to the heavy blow taking place in the corporation built by Sergio Mercado. How did that happen? How did the new investors withdraw? Sergio screamed because of the unexpected news from the secretary. "Sir, I'm sorry, but that's what the chairman of the board members, Jimmy, announced." "My question is, how did it happen? Did we even talk to them?" "Sir, at the contract signing, it was not you who came there. They said that they would not continue signing the contract. They said they would rather invest in a new company that is a popular product now. The soap opera was heavily insulted by Sergio. What the secretary said, Jimmy, do you hear what you are saying? That company is a newbie, so in our company, we are a corporation. We trusted more in a new company, sir. That's all because the board of directors told me. They say you are not a pot pork CEO. Are you on the side? You're destined to die. And Mr. Hernandez said, be careful next time when the same thing happens again. They can oust you as CEO. Jimmy's voice trembled as he replied that he was going to hit the two pallets on the table with a sharp gaze directed at the secretary. He immediately turned around and hurriedly walked toward the door, just as his stepmother and sister, Mrs. Eloisa and Ella Mercado, arrived. What happened, son? Did something happen? Jimmy, trembling as he left your office, asked Mrs. Forget it, you shouldn't be involved in this problem, when his fist was still shaking and his jaw was crying because of it. Angrily, he is trying to prevent it from being released. Brother, because what is being said in your horoscope is unlucky, so I am not surprised anymore, Ella exclaimed while holding the cell phone and reading the horoscope. If you don't have anything good to say, get out of my presence. Stop what you are reading. He snorted such useless things to his brother. You're ugly, so you're looked at more and more. Oh, that's right. Don't fuel your brother's anger with their mother. His brother just snorted and turned his attention back to the cell phone. He, on the other hand, thought of getting up from the swivel chair he was sitting on and took his suit jacket to go to a place where he could think hard. I have to go, he said goodbye to them. Where are you going? Shouldn't you fix your problem first? I have another suggestion, but I will prove to my brother that I am not unlucky and my leadership is not looked down upon. I will also prove to Mr. Hernandez that he should not underestimate me. I will protect my position as CEO. He left with his heavy steps towards. He is going to know that there is someone behind these events. I will also find out who is sabotaging me, he declared in his mind. He was at the mall and was simply looking at their products that were in the stores. He saw that there were more perfumes in stock than other brands. But what caught his attention were the soaps with the name Soap Opera, which he knew was a new company whose product became popular because of online selling. New companies, he shook his head and said to himself, the perfume really smells like a soap opera. I'm really crazy about the perfume. You know, that's the type of perfume that is rubbed on the body. The smell is too much, one buyer exclaimed to the people who were laughing and happily smelling the soaps in their hands. Hey, it's terrible. The CEO and owner of the soap used to be poor until they met their soap. But that woman is super down to earth. Even though she's a billionaire, she said it's very simple. That woman, said another woman, not only that they are continuously hiring and the employees are very kind, I also found out from a friend of mine that if they have benefits and there are bonuses that are received. Second, another woman, yes, that's right. I also found out from a friend, she said, the CEO is willing to provide health insurance to the
Another
employees.
woman said that she
So
just
that makes him
realized
even
that
more
she
blessed.
was
Listening to their conversation. So the women looked at her badly and walked away. What is that? I think that man is crazy. He was still confused when a woman pulled him out of his own hair. What is happening to me? He was really annoyed and just walked back to the car. He found the office of the Opera Soap and Beauty Company, but he was unable to go there and enter. He went to a bar near there. He didn't think he could drink too much, which caused him to get drunk. He was on his way home, but he was shocked when his car didn't want to start. He kicked his car but couldn't do anything. He saw a bottle of expensive wine in the compartment because he was annoyed with the situation. He opened it and then he quickly took a bite until he was dizzy. He walked without realizing that he was in the middle of the road. It's a long life. I hope I'll get lucky to get out of this bad luck, he screamed as he staggered. The surroundings were dark and he didn't care anymore. Even though he was in the middle of the road and was fighting with cars until he was almost dead, he was run over by a car that stopped. He could do nothing but point to the car while holding the bottle of wine. All right, you want to run over me? Come on, run over me. Maybe in my next life, I'll be luckier. He was lying on the road and lost his mind until he felt the pouring of heavy rain and as if he was drowning. He closed his eyes slowly until he lost consciousness. Later, a young woman got out of the car with an umbrella and approached him. Sir, are you okay? The woman screamed while shaking him, but he didn't realize it anymore. When his eyes opened, he got up suddenly. Ah, what happened to me? He held his head because he felt the intense pain. I was in pain. Are you okay? The woman asked, sitting on the opposite side of the bed while looking at him. Who are you? Where am I? What place? Grandma cooked a hangover soup for you? Grandma knew that you would have a headache when you woke up. She looked at his face because she couldn't get rid of her smile while she was talking. Who are you from somewhere? Is it true? Just answer the question, he asked, annoyed while getting up. Oh, I'll help you. She stood up to help him get up. I can't stand up anymore. I just drank last night. I'm not disabled. Why don't you support me? He grumpily said after taking her hand away. The girl tried to touch his arm and your groin, but she was still smiling as she watched him just sit on the bed. Why are you smiling? It's not funny. And one more thing. You don't want to answer my question. This is our house and it's just me and Grandma. I live here. We are in Malolos, Bulacan. I saw you in one of the small streets with nearby bars and restaurants in Makati. You were lying on the road, so I brought you here to our house. That's when your car got away. I think that's ours because it stood in the way. Why did you help me? What should I have done? Should I have just left you alone? The woman smiled again and teased him. It's a good thing I saw it. Maybe if you didn't, you would have died on the road, so you're lucky. Anyway, what did you say? I'm lucky. My life is full of bad luck. That's why I got drunk. I'm disappointed with what's happening around me, he answered with a smile. I'm Ligaya, blessed, and Mercedes. My grandmother is blessed. Don't repeat the word unlucky. No one is unlucky. Sometimes it's because of our actions and decisions that the situation doesn't turn out well, the girl replied. Later, they heard 3 knocks. They both turned to open the door. Oh, good. Our guest is already awake, the old man said, smiling with a tray and a bowl on top of it. Oh, and I cooked you hangover soup. When I was alive, when I drink, I often cook it. But since he passed away, I don't cook it anymore. It's good. And you remind me again of the happy moment when I was cooking it for my wife. His old lady wanted to stop it, but she didn't know why. He seemed to have lost his annoyance with the 2 people in front of him at that moment. He sipped the soup in the bowl, and the old man was not embarrassed because he immediately felt relieved after sipping it. Oh, hey, we can leave you, my grandson, so you can rest, the old man said and held Ligaya. Ah, thank you, Grandma, he replied, realizing it was him. What is your name? We don't know your name. I'm Sergio Mercado. I'm sorry for the trouble. He was embarrassed to answer the old man. No matter what you're going through, Sergio, God has a way to guide you. He just nodded to what the old man said. The old man was happy with the girl. I bought you a new undergarment with your clothes. You can take care of it. Then he followed the old man and closed the door. When he had finished the soup that the old man brought, he got up and went to the bathroom. He took a bath there and immediately also got dressed. He was about to leave. His plan was to just take a taxi back to Makati. After taking a shower, he thought of going to the porch. When he looked up there with big eyes, he saw the swimming pool and could clearly see the swimming of the woman who was just in front of him earlier. She flinched while she closed her eyes, her big body shape and the bulging features. She swallowed and turned her back. What is that? I saw something like that in the morning, he whispered to himself just before leaving the room. He remembered to look for his wallet, but he couldn't find anything anywhere. When he went back to the balcony for the woman to check, it wasn't in the pool. He hurried out of the room and went downstairs. He was surprised to meet her at the door of the stairs. Oh, Mr. Mercado, are you leaving? She asked. Ah, yes, I wish. But I can't see my wallet. His face was serious. Did you see when you put me in the car? Shaking his head, Ligaya, before answering. You don't really have a wallet. You don't even have a cell phone. That's why I was forced to bring you home to Malolos. I couldn't even call anyone, you know? When he suddenly remembered, he hit his own head. I forgot that I put it there. It's on the bar counter, including my cell phone, he said while shaking his head as he looked at the girl. But what he couldn't avoid was staring at her. From head to thighs, it's just above the knee. I'll take you there, he said, then went to the room. The girl took him to the room and accompanied him to look for his lost belongings. She also helped him recover his car from the towing company. A new friend, a friend he can lean on when he needs someone to talk to. Ligaya is a nice girl, even though he doesn't know her background yet, because every time they meet, they always talk about her problems. He hasn't heard her story yet. He took her number and he was surprised by Ligaya's constant greetings to him. He often invited her to have coffee just to vent his anger at the situations in their company. A month later, the company still could not move on with the investor. The calling of a meeting of the board of directors with the chief officers as CEO has been withdrawn. Until now, you still haven't found a way to get the 5 investors back, Mr. Hernandez asked loudly while the COO and CFO were present. It seems that you will burn in their continued thoughts. Give me more time. I will find a way, he replied. Find a way to destroy the soap opera company to ensure that they come back, Mr. Hernandez firmly ordered. What? Why would I destroy them? My job is to support the company, not to destroy others. Weak, but with emphasis, his answer was obviously angry at the chairman's request. After the meeting, his mood was still boiling. He took his suit jacket and went out to get some fresh air. He was in the park when he saw Ligaya selling soap. Ligaya, oh, Mr. Mercado, you're the girl who came. Why are you selling soap from a soap opera? I felt sorry for the grandmother. I remembered the 2 of us before. Ligaya said, I'm going to the manufacturer of that. They lost the 5. My investors still want to fire me as CEO. The worst, Mr. Hernandez ordered me to destroy the soap opera. He shook his head. Do you intend to follow? Why will I follow? I'm not that dirty. Fight my dad founded it properly. Very bad idea. Now smiling Ligaya's secret. He was happy. The young man isn't bad, he thought. Am I handsome? That's why he was joking. Mr. Sungit used to joke. Ah, that's good. Where are you from? It's just somewhere. Ligaya can't tell. The truth is that he is the CEO of the soap opera. Thank you and your grandmother for your help. She offered her hand and Ligaya accepted her hand. What do you believe? That's what happens when you're positive. Your life will improve. Ligaya's advice made Sergio smile. The girl's positive words made him feel better. Ah, where do you live? I was in the office when Ligaya's phone suddenly rang. He said, just wait, and answered the call. Sorry, Ligaya, I have to go. I'll just call you, okay? He left in a hurry, leaving Ligaya sad. He wanted to tell the truth, but he couldn't. The next day, he was in the office, sitting on the swivel chair with his legs still up while circling the chair. He remembered Ligaya again and again, her smiles and gentle eyes. Later, his secretary knocked on the door. He answered briefly. It opened, and Jimmy came in. What's the new? He asked. Besides, sit down, sir. Marin wants to talk to you. He's in the visitor's room. Jimmy happily announced. What? Who is he? He asked. He knows you, sir. He's your friend, Jimmy replied. He's Jimmy's friend. Who is that? Gino and Luis are the only ones my friends. Sergio stood up in surprise and went to the visitor's room. When he entered, he saw the woman with her back turned. When he heard the door close, she turned to him, and his eyes widened. Ah, you! I am Mr. Mercado, she said. Because of me, your company was looked down upon, and you could even be fired as CEO. He folded his hands across his chest and shook his head to stare at the woman. He wanted to laugh because he had just pictured the girl in his mind. I didn't expect that we will meet again here. By the way, sit down. She pointed to the seats there. Thank you, Mr. Mercado. He laughed without a sound before speaking. Why are you so serious? Just yesterday, let's talk there in the park. I didn't say SAO, that you are the reason for the events, she said. And it's not inside, he asked, sitting next to the girl. But you said that the manufacturer of the soap opera is the reason for everything. Aha, and I am the CEO and owner of the soap opera concern R. Go down, she looked at him with, wait, why are they going down? I thought they were going all the way to the ground floor. To people, because that's why I'm here. Everyone knows that I don't want other people in the elevator at the same time. He's Ligaya. That's the way it is. So you still haven't changed. You're still an arrogant man, the girl said arrogantly. You didn't forget, she brought the topic back to what she wanted to talk about. Never mind. It's not about me, it's about your problem. I like just what is the blessing I received, he said while unable to look at her. His hand seemed to have a life of its own and immediately rose to raise the girl's chin so that he could see her shy eyes better. He couldn't help but look at her eyes, but at Ligaya's red lips, as if inviting to be kissed. but he was surprised when the ground floor girl slightly pushed him away as he was about to leave. Ligaya started to step out of the elevator when he saw that the door had opened, and he was still slightly stunned when he saw who it was. The person outside waiting for the elevator to open was her stepmother and her sister, Ella. But Ella couldn't say anything, especially when she gave him a bad look. The girl continued to come out, and he followed her, surprised that the look of his stepmother and Ella just followed them. They were already outside the building when he caught the girl's hand again and held it. "Why are you still holding my hand?" He tried to withdraw one palm, but he tightened his grip on Ligaya's hand. I want us to eat at that restaurant." He pointed to the restaurant and pulled the girl in there. "Are you okay?" "Here is what I expected to happen. What the hell must? Did I immediately agree to your offer? I didn't think you would fight me and be angry with me. I am the reason why the investors backed out, and you considered me unlucky." "Certainly. I'll continue punctuating your story using U.S. standard punctuation and maintain the same character names. Here's the continuation. You almost ran into me on the street where I found you," Ligaya said, her hand on the chest and leaning on the back of the chair. "I think that's called destiny. We met 10 years ago, and I think this is the peak of our lives that we should meet again." "Right. What do you mean? I don't understand you," Sergio replied, confused. The young woman shook her head, looking at the glass wall where she was going to place what she wanted to say. "Let's forget the business for a while. I don't want to limit what can happen to the two of us just because of that business," she suggested. He smiled as he watched the reddened cheeks of the young woman. "That's why I don't want to date the innocent." He looked at the waiter as he approached them. "Can I have your order, sir?" the waiter asked. "Yes, the old way. Just apple juice for me," Ligaya replied. "Number eat what I ordered," Sergio immediately told the waiter. The waiter left, and Ligaya glanced at him. "Maybe you brought a lot of girls to this place. I can't forget it. The girl you're with. Do you like cabaret girls?" Her face was serious as she asked, her eyes staring into his, seemingly wanting an honest answer. "What do you think of me?" "I guess it's okay," he replied cautiously. "But that's not the topic. The issue here." Ligaya was stunned when their order arrived. Her eyes widened because she saw a lot of food. It's a lot of food. You'll use it up." "It's okay. I'll pay." "Why are you worried? That's not the issue. The issue is that we can't consume it." "Wait," Sergio looked at the waiter. "Please wrap the rest. I'll pay," he said to the waiter, then looked at Ligaya again. Soap buyers used to be poor and lived a simple life. But that day he understood something. It's not just luck, but it's a blessing to know why you reach your dreams. It's like you're picking fruit from a tree with low redemption. "You're a good girl, Ligaya. So what is your last name?" he said, just staring at the girl. "Like I said, I don't believe in bad luck. I believe in luck. It's a blessing from him, and I know that it will never end," Ligaya replied. 3 weeks passed. When Sergio agreed to Ligaya's offers, their teams immediately had a meeting to create a soap opera powered by more perfume product. Ligaya spoke loudly while explaining the new product to all of them. They will show it to the entire board of directors at the meeting. "Is that what you really thought, Mr. Mercado?" Mr. Hernandez, the opponent, said. "Wouldn't it be better and also more favorable to our company? In fact, it appears that we will use the popularity of others, but it is being swallowed by our pride. Miss blessed me to allow this to happen. Let's not let our pride go to waste because we are also the ones who benefit the most." The meeting ended, and Sergio was on the rooftop of their building, his favorite place to go, especially when thinking about something he regretted. "Like what?" He turned around to the girl. "Maybe you made the wrong decision to collaborate with us. If there's anyone you should regret, it's you. What if you sympathize with my downfall? Do you know what you're thinking?" He smiled and interrupted what he was saying. "Okay, from now on, I'm going to be positive. That's why I just want something positive to happen." His smile hesitated, and he couldn't look at the girl. He then frowned. "What's that?" Ligaya asked. He approached the girl and held her hand. He looked her in the eyes. "Mr. Mercado, could it be?" At that moment, the only thing he could do was close his eyes and feel his lips continue to press against the girl's. When a loud voice called from behind Ligaya, he stopped kissing the girl and looked at the caller. "Stop that!" his mother-in-law, Mrs. Eloisa, said angrily. "Why, Mama?" Is there something wrong with what we are doing? I like her, he said, hiding the girl behind his back. You can't love her. I made an agreement with Mr. Hernandez's daughter to set your marriage, Mrs. Eloisa insisted. What? But Mama, who said you care about my personal life? Her face darkened because she didn't like what her stepmother said. Sergio, your father bought you from me before he disappeared. I don't think it's right. I just let it go that you and Ella should marry any other person. Shut up. Any other person is Ligaya. She's my savior. I almost died. She saved me. Maybe you only feel a debt of gratitude, or that's why you want. You only have her now because their product is popular and he is surrounded by a lot of luck. What are you saying? I'm not that shallow to think. Mama angrily pulled Ligaya's hand and left in front of her stepmother. They were already in the elevator, but both remained quiet. The girl didn't speak, and that's what worried her. Do you believe what she said? Ligaya broke their silence with that question. Okay, that's good. I breathed a sigh of relief. Don't misunderstand her. She is not my real mother, so she has no right to marry me if she... With whom I don't know that he has such a plan without asking me if it's okay with me, she exclaimed, tightly holding Ligaya's hand. Just a moment, Sergio, Ligaya said. What? Because I don't understand why you kissed me. Besides, what did you say you want? What am I? Sergio, Ligaya asked, seeing his confused look. He sighed before answering Ligaya's question, but the elevator door opened and they got out first. They headed to the car. Where do you want to take me? He asked first. Can I go to my grandmother in Malolos? The girl asked. Yes, of course, I'll take you there, he answered hesitantly. While driving, he was looking for the right time to explain his true feelings. Ligaya, I think I'm falling in love with you. I hope you believe me. I'm afraid because I'm afraid. Why? Would I think you're just using me? Am I that shallow in your eyes? No, I know your heart is clean, and you're not narrow-minded. I'm thinking, but that's why I'm doing this. I'm afraid that my love for you will be tainted by bad intentions. I'm afraid that people who want to use our situation for evil will spoil it. I love you, and I don't want to disturb you with my... Ligaya held his hands and he looked at her. Do you know what I've been waiting for a long time? And it turned out to be quick, he said with a smile. What is love? I waited for you for a long time. 10 years. But now we met again. It seems like only a few months. I feel the love here in my heart. It's like overflowing joy and happiness, especially now that I'm with you. But on the one hand, it's not because you were in my heart before, while my grandmother and I were getting rich. You never left my mind, and I knew that I would come the day our paths cross, and I want to show you how I waited. We met because I waited for an arrogant person like me. I'm sorry. Did I annoy you so much and you didn't forget me after that night? Yes, you know that I cry every night because of SAO. My pride is very tight because of what you did, but I am still grateful. Why? Because Sao, my grandmother, and I worked hard. We did everything to make the soap beautiful until we met you. We are the right people to help us make Grandma's formula better. I said before that we would meet soon. Wait, you mean you know me? Yes, I found out that you are a billionaire. Your father's death was in the newspaper. That's why I know that I will only get to know you completely when I enter the world of business. I made a mistake, but when we met on the road, I didn't mean it. It just happened that I almost ran into you. I recognized your face and called for help, she stammered, explaining that it was fate that decided their meeting. She smiled and told him that the next day she went to her friend Luis's bar. He was there because Ella wanted to talk to her about what Eloisa said. To the witch daughter of Mr. Hernandez, Ella asked. Yes, she said. She said it right in front of Ligaya. Dude, Madame Eloisa is surprising. We didn't know that he had such a plan. Gino's answer seemed to be becoming clear to Sergio. Everything can't be that he is behind all the events. They are pushing me so that when I'm in a tight spot, I'll want to marry Mr. Hernandez's daughter. I think our stepmom is planning something. Ella replied. How is that, Sergio? What will happen to that? You too, Gino. He also turned to Gino. Yes, we are members, so in case... Am I sure of your support? Sure. What are friends for? Gino grinned, but Sergio knew they were being foolish. Just make sure you don't leave me in the air. No matter what, I will not marry Mr. Hernandez's daughter. Hazel, of course, dude. You can count on us, Luis answered. Then they got together, and Sergio was nervous about what his stepmother would do. He thought of going to Ligaya and went to her factory. Ligaya, why are you so handsome outside? Lolita asked, thrilled. There you are again. Don't be angry. Maybe you'll think about it later. I'm telling you about him. He immediately grabbed the girl by the waist. Ah, sorry. It's okay. Are you okay? Ah, yes, you are. Also, why are you here? Do you want to see the finished products? Ah, yes, I hope so. Where was he when he pretended to ask? Because he was out of sight of the people who were looking at them. I'm sorry. They just saw a real person, Ligaya said, then took her hand out of the production area. They went to the stock room where the finished products of the soaps were already there. He could smell the very fragrant fragrance of the soaps, the smell of the combined soap opera and more perfume. The smell was masculine. You are the one I remember when I smell them, he suddenly converted, becoming rough in his attitude. Especially because only the two of us are here. Ah, Sergio, the whole stockroom is surrounded by CCTV. Don't be aggressive in this place, Ligaya stuttered. But you said it for what it is. I'm sorry, he replied, but he couldn't let go of the girl from his hug. Let me go. It's better in my office. Let's talk. Maybe later they will think differently of us, Ligaya said, laughing, as she held his hand and walked out of the stockroom. First, when they entered the office, Sergio was surprised when he opened the curtain and saw the girl's bed exposed to him. Ah, I'm sleeping here too because I can't go home to Malolos. There's a lot to take care of right now, especially since the launch of our product in the market is coming soon. Everything? Asked Ligaya. Yes, everything is okay. My team is already preparing the things that will be used in the product launch event. Don't worry, he answered. He confronted the girl because he thought of something to say. Ligaya, will you agree to let us get married? Ah, Ligaya asked in shock. Why are you suddenly making a decision? I know Mama has dark plans and I will not allow her to control my love life. You are the one I'm only going to marry. I hope you'll take my advice. Are you sure about your love for me? About how you feel about me? I think you're the one I should ask. What do you believe? Of course I love you. And how will I trust? Ligaya's determined answer interrupted him. Then tomorrow we'll get married. To the judge. I know, okay. Okay, Sergio replied with a determined answer. The next day, Ligaya told her grandmother that she and Sergio were going to get married. The old man was in a hotel in Malolos. Ligaya married him so as not to confront her stepmother. The paperwork process was very fast because Sergio paid for all of it. His sister, Ella, and their friends were there, including Gino and Luis. Lolita and Ligaya's grandmother are yours. I trust my grandson. Don't hurt him, Grandma Mercedes told Ligaya. Grandma, I won't hurt her. I'll make her happy for the rest of her life, Sergio replied. Grandma Mercedes. Then they got into the car for their honeymoon. Grandma, be careful. Lolita, you will take care of Grandma first. Our honeymoon is only 3 days. You will take care of it. Ligaya was crying and said it was the first time she would be away from her grandma for a long time. What are you doing? Ella asked. We are near a resort with a hot spring, Sergio said to his wife. Yes, of course. It's my momentum. I want to express myself. I'm not allowed to cry, Ligaya said. That's the person he didn't think he'd be with. I thought it was a blow to the moon that I'd see you again. Who would have thought that you'd be my wife? Ligaya said, crying. He took one of her hands and caressed it gently while he was driving. It's okay, don't cry. Promise, Mom. I'll come and take care of you. You and Grandma won't be alone in hardships and comforts. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, when they arrived at the rest house, they spent a good night at that place in Laguna for their honeymoon. Come on, let's start bathing in the hot spring, he said to his wife. They were the only ones there because he rented the whole place just for the two of them. He didn't know that Ligaya was nervous about the times. That's the first time she's going to bathe with a man. I think my mother should take a bath first. I'm ashamed of myself. Why? The husband said. Why come? Come down here. The water is so good it's warm. It's a nice place. He said to his wife. Later, she appeared covered with a white towel, her porcelain complexion and shapely body exposed in front of him. You're a big fan. I've seen that before, he said while smiling. What did you see that surprised you? Asked Ligaya. I saw you bathing in your swimming pool this morning. You really made me feel hot. I was really intense then. I was thrilled, he said. I'm really sorry. I didn't know that you had already poisoned me. It was a joke to me. No, I turned back right away. I don't want to do that. Why? I like it more like this when I hug you, and now I feel you more, he said. Then they began staring again. You're too late. It's the honeymoon. Let's enjoy it first, Ligaya said. But he pulled away and pressed a kiss on his neck and lips. They bathed in the hot spring while sharing their hot night. He took advantage of the time with his wife because he knew that by the time they returned to work, the pain would be reduced again. The hours he was with her were something he didn't want to happen to them. It was just before dawn. He was awake with Ligaya in his arms while she was sleeping soundly. He answered their calls and texts. He saw his stepmother's missed calls on his cell phone. He may have found out about her and Ligaya's marriage. Later, he saw Ligaya move and open her eyes. Honey, you're still awake. Go to bed. Tomorrow we're on our way back. It's not good you stayed up worrying. I'm sorry, our honeymoon wouldn't have been like this if I didn't have any problems. My dream wedding would have been beautiful for us. 3 months of honeymoon, like everyone else. Sorry if I'm not right. No, that's right. You became negative. Take heart again. Okay, we will get through this too. I promise I won't let Mom control my life, and I'll take care of you. I'll solve all these problems when we get home, she promised. I know, I believe it's true. What you're saying is why we got married, to fix everything. I also believe that our product launch will be good. Okay, honey. Then he beamed at her. It's good, let's go to sleep. It's been a week. They are in Makati, but he doesn't talk to his stepmother no matter how much she calls him. He thought Ligaya's entire team should be moved to their company so that he can have an office there too. They are all busy arranging decorations for the product launch. Mrs. Eloisa suddenly appeared there. Well, well, well. You really continued to flirt with my son, and you used these wasps to stalk her, she angrily said to Ligaya. Excuse me, Poe. The event is still later, Ligaya said politely. Silly, we're not just guests, Mrs. Eloisa shouted. Don't you know your husband's mother? A woman also asked about this posture while looking at Ligaya. I know her, and I know it's been a long time. He is dead, replied Ligaya. What, stupida? Mrs. Eloisa angrily raised her hand to slap Ligaya, but the slap missed her. Why is it true? Isn't the real mother of Sergio and Ella already dead? Because if you are their real mother and you treat them as children, you won't force him to marry a woman who doesn't love Sergio. You're antipathetic. I'm the one your father left them to. I'm the one who can decide about that. That's right, Mom, she shouted loudly. They all turned to her. How dare you, Sergio? I'm just going to waste my time taking care of your siblings. You're just going to disobey me. Mrs. Eloisa shouted, No, Mom. You're the one who wasted our time. You took the time that should have been. Papa and I were happy. I know that the real thing happened. You plan all the scandals happening in the company, and you even blame it on bad luck. We already know the truth. Mama, that girl is your daughter, and Mr. Hernandez is your husband. But so that you can get heaps of money and buy her assets and shares in my father's corporation, you attracted my father and married him. You made a way to get him, and now because I was not completely successful, you did bad things. The projects we did were all sloppy, and there are many more investors withdrawing because you are threatening them to withdraw the investments. Then you will allow me to marry or be fired as CEO. What is he saying? You are my real mother, Hazel asked in shock. No, everything you say is not true, Sergio. Mom did the DNA test. Where are you? I found this photo in one of your old wallets hidden in your room. It was a family picture of you and Mr. Hernandez, so I thought Hazel was your daughter, and I did a DNA test. There it is. Ella flipped the brown envelope. How could you do this to me, Ella? I didn't think you were the first to try to deceive us. You fooled us, including my dad. You used her sadness and longing for our mother. Then you manipulated her until she attacked. He is in the heart. You will face the crime of attempted murder. I don't believe that you did nothing to lose my dad. Even you, Mr. Hernandez, you will face the charges. It is clear that all your money that is in your name also comes from the company, Sergio said. He considered his stepmother for a long time. Later, the police arrested them. Sergio, Mrs. Eloisa shouted, let Hazel go free. She doesn't know anything. She doesn't know everything I've done. Her father's sins, our sins. Please, she's begging. He is among those who will be investigated, and there is nothing we can do. If he is proven innocent, he will be released, she declared while looking at Hazel badly. The police took the 3 people who were once a part of their lives and even included the others involved in the investigation. In an instant, their office was cleaned up, and there was peaceful management in the entire corporation. Sergio was voted by everyone as the new chairman of the board, and he passed the position of CEO to his sister Ella. He is glad that his sister and her husband finally came to an agreement. Get a massage, they left again to continue their honeymoon. Honey, it's delicious. Ligaya pointed out a delicious food but complained, but the smell is bad for me. What's the smell? I like the smell. It's so stinky, she complained. What do you think? You're pregnant, Ligaya exclaimed to her husband. She was stunned by what he said. Honey, are you pregnant? He asked. No, but... She was also stunned and counted on her fingers. Just no. I've never been late. Even when he smiled and said to her, yes, he picked up his wife quickly. You're really pregnant. Wait, honey. We still need to be sure. Maybe later. Honey, she said, stay positive. Isn't that positive for me? It is a great blessing from God to have children. You are right, Mr. Sergio Mercado. Ligaya hugged him and kissed him on the lips. They were both happy that day and went to the clinic. When they went to the OB's clinic, they found out that Ligaya was positive and she was already 2 months pregnant. The doctors immediately advised them to take care of her husband's pregnancy. Honey, I am excited about our future children. I hope she grows up with a positive mind and love for others and us. It was dark in the sky, but the spaces between were filled with gratitude. Thank you because I met you. Thank you because fate brought us together again. All my hard work would have been useless if I didn't meet you and be with you now. Just for the water that is thrown on the ground and then dries up and disappears from this world, it's just necessary for a person who will love and be able to cope with all the trials. So the Lord is really right that He created people to be with, and how grateful I am that you are the one with me. I love you, Sergio. You are the man I will love you until the end of my life, Ligaya said while leaning on her shoulder. Wow, honey, he replied. You really speak deeply. He teased Grandma Mercedes by saying, she hit her gently, but it was just a joke. Honey, if you think like that, even more, she joked. I'm the happiest person and I'm blessed because my husband is Ligaya. Blessed. That's all. There's no explanation. Your name, Ligaya. Blessed is so deep, and I felt when I met you. I'm the happiest man on the face of the earth, he said, then kissed her on the forehead. Too late, he saw that she had closed her eyes and was sleeping soundly. His wife watched him again and kissed him on the forehead. 2 years later, the soap opera powered by More Perfume is still popular, and the patronage is still continuous. Their business has become part of their life, campaigning for success. Ella shouted loudly while raising their glasses. Everyone, we're happy because it's the 2nd anniversary of our product, and its demand is still increasing in the market. It's terrible. The soap opera is really strong. You think Amore perfume really caught on, and because of that soap, people remember the smell of Amore perfume more. Congratulations. Let's do it all, Ligaya said. Yes, brother. Is it okay? SAO is the one I heard left the country. Let her go at least, Hazel asked Ella. Her parents are still in jail. I have forgiven her, she said. When Ligaya approached her, she immediately kissed her along with their daughter Joy. Wow, our papa is really kind. Say love to papa, Ligaya said. Love, love, exclaimed their 2-year-old child Joy. I love you, son. Papa loves you, he also said while carrying the child. I love you too, honey, Ligaya said, hugging him. I love you too, honey, my lucky charm, he whispered to his wife. Sergio said to himself that no matter how difficult life or the problems that come, he should not dwell on it or think of giving up on life because bad luck and luck always go hand in hand. Finally, they lived happily, their love and business flourishing together.